and welcome back to my little space on the internet. My name is Sam if you are new here, and I like to create videos that document my creative pursuits as well as the things that I experience in real life. So I wanted to sit down today and talk about something a little bit more juicier, a little bit more intimate. So in today's video, I really want to sit down and have an honest conversation with you guys about relationships and sex and online dating and self-pleasure and all things intimate. This is not something that oh my gosh, you're most likely going to see my cat and dog regularly the more I do these videos. So sex and relationships and online dating, that is definitely something that I have not spoken about on my channel before, so I'm a little bit nervous. So I went on Instagram and asked you guys for some questions surrounding these topics, and I got some really beautiful questions, and I'm excited to dive into them. But first, I'd like to just give a little bit of a background on my situation and where I'm currently at in regards to dating and sex and relationships and the whole world of love. A year ago, I had an 11-year relationship end, and that was a really beautiful time in my life that brought me a lot of experiences and change and growth. However, it was 11 years. That is a huge chunk of time, and I'm sort of in this space now where I am single and really trying to discover who I am on my own. So that is a little bit of an update on where I'm at. It's a pretty big chapter in my life right now for self-development and love and sex and all of those types of things. So I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a background on me. I received some cool questions surrounding these topics on Instagram from my friends, and I wanted to deep dive into some of those questions. So the first one, how is online dating life during a pandemic? Whew. So here's the truth about online dating, or my truth. Online dating is very new to me. I only had started online dating a few months prior to the pandemic starting. I still consider myself a beginner in online dating, even though it's been a year since my breakup. So it was weird for me to begin with, and once the pandemic started, it was just weirder. The thing that I have come to realize about online dating is that, yeah, it is kind of weird and it is kind of uncomfortable, but it's also sort of necessary. I mean, it's just a fact that this is how we meet people in this day and age. And even if you're not looking to date or get into a relationship, you know, these apps are also great for making any sort of relationship, including friendships, and there are apps that you can do that. Anyways, that's just my opinion on online dating, because for example, maybe you feel like all the good people are taken and you just can't seem to meet someone that you really click with. Oftentimes when you ask someone, are you online dating? Are you swiping? Are you putting yourself out there? And the answer is no. In my head, I'm sort of like, well, you know, you should probably do that. It's just sort of the way it is, and I think that you can go into online dating with an open mind. It's sort of just become the new norm, and I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that if you are putting in time and energy into the apps that you really like and the apps that you feel like are worth your time. So yes, online dating is scary, but I think that it's definitely something you sort of have to just rip the band-aid off and start doing if you are really passionate about wanting to meet someone, especially someone romantic in your life. But anyways, in regards to the pandemic and online dating, I don't know, it's all so weird to me, and really I don't feel like the pandemic has changed much for me in regards to that weirdness, because it's all so foreign to me. But it did change the way that I was online dating, because in the few months that I was online dating before the pandemic, I was definitely going on more dinner dates and more like drinks and bars, and obviously there was more life happening and there was more like social events happening in the world. And so very regularly I'd be asked out to dinner or drinks, and that was just like a normal thing. Whereas when the pandemic hit, it was like, hey, do you want to go to the park? Do you want to like sit on a bench and wear masks and like be 6 feet apart? And you know, that was something that I did not do for several months. I was not comfortable when things with COVID first like began. I was like, no to, I sort of took a break from the apps for a good solid few months. And then when we started learning how to take precautions with COVID and everything, after several months, I did feel comfortable getting back on the apps and just meeting up with people for coffee and social distancing and wearing masks and just making sure that we were taking all the precautions. I wouldn't go on dates with people that didn't take it seriously. That was something that was important to me. I know people probably have lots of feelings about online dating during a pandemic and meeting people in real life, but like I said, it was a personal decision where I waited several months before I felt comfortable, and then I definitely had a conversation and was communicating with the people that I went on a date with. And now that I think about it, it was really like 2 or 3 guys that I like met up with in a park. So that was just how I wanted to do it. I wasn't super comfortable with video chats or FaceTime calls. That was not something that I tried. I don't know, I could have done that, but I need that sort of like in-person contact on the first date. That's important to me. But yeah, it was weird. I mean, most of the dates at that time were just sitting there talking about how crazy the world was and how crazy it was, especially for people who are single and trying to meet people. And it just made things 10 times harder for people who, you know, like me, who are single and trying to mingle. I've learned a lot about men and dating and love, and it's something that for the next few months I do see myself taking a break from swiping and being on those apps. I think you have these experiences and you are sort of, I've noticed I'm sort of like in more phases where I'll want to be swiping and I'll want to be going on dates and meeting new people. And then there may be some weeks or some months that I feel like I don't want to be on it. And that has been really cool to me in being single and discovering that it's okay to go through little periods of time where you want to be going on dates, and it's okay if you feel like you want to be like in sweatpants in your bed on a Friday night. That's okay and normal, and I don't think you should put pressure on yourself to be constantly swiping. Like, if you're not feeling it, you're not feeling it. The next question I got is things surrounding singleness and self-pleasure, how to make that more meaningful, etc. Being single is the best time to explore self-pleasure. It is 100% the time for you to deep dive into you and your sexuality and the things that you like and the things that turn you on. And sometimes that's not always a super positive experience, but I think that is what is positive about it, is that when you're discovering yourself, you are learning more about yourself every single day. And that is what self-development is, and that is a beautiful thing. Having experiences where you dive into yourself and your soul and you learn more about you, whether they are positive or negative, is going to benefit you in the long run and is something that you should put time and energy into doing. There are lots of struggles that you can have in the bedroom, with a partner, as well as within self-pleasure. And so I think that if you feel like it is not super meaningful right now, to not be hard on yourself, to be more gentle with yourself, and to maybe sort of whip out a piece of paper and figure out like, okay, what do I need to do to spice things up for me? Do I need to try a new toy? Do I need to look online and find a community where they're talking about sex and they're talking about intimacy in a way that really speaks to me? Sites like Pornhub and RedTube and all of these sites that are so mainstream are not really great ways to really showcase and learn about sexuality in a more meaningful way. So I would love to recommend a few things that I feel as though have really helped my self-pleasure and also my intimacy with partners. There are two things that I want to recommend to you guys. And the first thing is a human being that I absolutely love. Her name is Anne Nguyen and she is on Instagram. I ended up having a chance to work with her a few years back and understanding her work and everything that she does. And she is this boss sexual empowerment coach, and you can find her on Instagram, and I just adore her content. If you are looking for someone who talks about sex on like a really real level and also all things surrounding like shame and sex, she is great. And she also has like a lot of classes and like webinars and things that she does online that you can sign up for and have like one-on-one training with her. And she's phenomenal. She's doing great things in the world of, you know, talking about sex online. So I'll link her stuff below. Her name's Anne. And then also another site that I want to mention is called Lustery, lustery.com. If you feel like you cannot relate to mainstream porn, like Pornhub, I highly recommend you check out Lustery. It is really, really great. It's real life people and couples who really show intimacy in a way that is so different than mainstream porn. And I really, really appreciate Lustery. It's something that I do pay for. I mean, it's 100% worth it. And honestly, I've learned so much from Lustery, and I also follow them on Instagram, so I'll link their Instagram down below. Lustery has taught me a ton about intimacy, and it's just also helped me work through like my personal experiences that I've had with sex and you know, even negative experiences that I've had and shame surrounding sex. It's something that has helped me work through that, and so for that I am like super, super grateful. Okay, I'm losing all my light here, so I'm going to try to push through this last question. But the last question is how to stop yourself from getting too invested in a relationship too fast. As someone who left an 11-year relationship, I very much was attaching to people very quickly in regards to dating, you know, whether it was a date or a couple of dates. I've learned that a lot of the dates that you go on are not necessarily going to be bad at all, but there really isn't going to be a second date, and that's okay. The idea that there wasn't going to be a second date was so daunting to me, and it's totally okay if you meet someone and you realize that it's not really something that is going to be pursued any further. If you feel like you're really pushing for things and jumping into things very quickly at the start of a relationship, that is most likely a sign that you need to go inward. That is telling me that you should probably not date or not be in a relationship right now. In reality, I know that's probably a hard pill to swallow, but you need to be so sure in yourself and your soul before you get into a committed and loving relationship. And that is the beautiful part about being single, is that you get to explore that, and that can look so many different ways. And it's just a really, yes, it's scary, but it's a necessary part of your story. When you take the time to really nurture yourself and your soul, and you further dive into the world of singleness, that is really gonna help you be more secure in yourself and allow you to not feel the need to jump into relationships fast, because that is a red flag. That's a red flag for you. That's a red flag to yourself. That is your soul speaking to you and saying, hey, something is not right within me and I need to further investigate me right now. So honestly, I would recommend maybe taking some time from dating, taking some time away from dating and relationships. I think this is a really beautiful time for you to dive into yourself, and we can talk more about those ways to do that when you're single. Okay, I have to sign off because I am losing all of my light. That's why I'm very close to the camera right now, because I started to get out of focus, so I had to move closer to you guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed this first video installment in talking about all things sex and relationships and being single and self-pleasure. I hope that this is something that interested you and something that you resonated with. If this is something you would further like to hear me talk about, definitely let me know by thumbs upping the video or leaving a comment down below. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it greatly, and I will see you very soon in a new video. Bye.